A little bit more than a year ago, I was brought into the supernatural world when God approached me to see if I would be his scribe. Since that time, I have been after him, repeatedly asking, praying if you will, for a one-on-one interview. Finally, recently, he agreed to sit down. Here's what happened. Hi, Lord. I've been after you for some time to do a one-on-one interview.
Kevin, nobody likes an egg.
Well, just the same, here you are. Why now? Why the change of heart?
What would you call it? A charm offensive? Although how charm can be offensive is a real head-scratcher.
Oh, well, 2 words. Rand Paul.
Or Hillary Clinton. Okay, I get it. Whatever. What were the change of seasons and the change of popes, and the new iPhones out on the store shelves? It seemed like it was a good time to repackage for the holiday market. You can think of it as my fall pledge drive. You know, people always say they want something new, but they don't. Now that's why there are 400 movies out there with the same old James Bond theme. Not the Bond films themselves, which I love, but all the ones that have been riffing on them for the last half a century. People clamor for those things like they're going for that next quarter pounder with cheese. People want the same thing, only today's fresh version of the same thing. Today's gadgets, today's girls, today's buffer bond.
Today's deity. Is that what we're rolling out?
Well, nobody wants to be irrelevant, my boy, least of all your creator.
So, no more gold and white robes.
Oh, played out. This is the 2.0 version of me. Eternal, but
trendy.
I think I prefer contemporary. It's Pope Francis's advice to the Catholic Church, really. It's no longer just about the Mass, it's about the masses. What is it to me if people see me as that guy on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, or as somebody out of an Eddie Bauer catalog? I am the people's God. My son agrees with me that it's time for a makeover. People see him as relatable.
Why do you suppose that is?
Who knows? Maybe it's a bad cop, good cop kind of thing. I'm the one with the rule book, all those thou shalt nots, and casting out of the garden, destroying cities, mudslides, famine, whatnot. It is much easier to show compassion and forgiveness the way Jesus does. I've got to say, he does a terrific job. I mean, there is no arguing with those stats.
Do I detect a twinge of jealousy there?
Oh, maybe once, a couple of millennia ago when he was first getting his feet on the ground. But I am he, and you are me, and we are he, and we are all together. It's Beatles, Lennon. We are one. So I am the one with the rule book, and he listens to the appeals of the people who break the rules. It's really a wonderful division of labor.
And the Holy Spirit, what is it he does exactly?
Well, he hangs out. He wafts. He's a drifter, but he is also an extremely valuable member of the team. I don't think people understand or appreciate him the way that he ought to be. Confusing, isn't it? That's why the theologians call us, what is that phrase? Beyond comprehension. It'd look really great on a t-shirt, wouldn't it? Except that only one of us, two of us could wear it or them.
Okay, back to cases. This spirit, I'm still unclear. He is an apparition. He's a ghost. He is
a mist presence. You really have to get to him about this because he's a little hard to pin down. Yeah, holy joke. No, he can be vague, and he really is very shy. Back in the day, he used to appear as a dove, as tongues of flame, but the disguises were pretty showy. He's worked very hard to maintain his anonymity. He travels incognito, no fanfare, no entourage, kind of like Anthony Bourdain, but without the camera crew. But he is a great guy for one of the Trinity. I mean, he is everywhere at once. And you really have to run to do that if you've ever tried. He's also my go-to guy for spiritual matters, sort of a holy sonar, if you will. And he knows where all of the bodies are buried and what happened to put them there. And he doesn't rely on thumb drives or flashcards or anything like that. Mind like a steel trap. You cannot get anything past him.
How is it that no one ever sees all three of you together at the same time and place? I mean, not even in much of the artwork are you all in the same shot.
Honestly, scheduling conflicts. That's why, even though we're all me, it takes three of us to cover all the bases.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So you say that you're busy and that all three of your entities are, but humanity doesn't always feel your presence in the world.
I'm always here, everywhere. The fact that the bulk of the world doesn't see that is a reflection of the mess that men can make. You can't see the bottom of the lake if you're always churning up the mud.
Now look, I know that you're used to hearing this, but it seems as though your faithful flock could use you now more than ever. I mean, the Middle East is a powder keg. You've got terrorists taking over a mall in Kenya.
That's not what I do.
Well, you're going to have to explain that one.
Well, I don't, actually, but I will. This place, this plane, is not under my direct minute-to-minute control. That's the contract, and I'm holding up my end of it. What you do here is your own business. When good things happen, I get some of the credit, and that's flattering, but it's not true. Those are the works of man, or I should say men and women alike. Likewise, when bad things happen, the other guy gets blamed. Not so. He doesn't actually make bad things happen per se. He's just the beneficiary. It's like, okay, the popcorn machines they have in the better cinemas, about how when the popping cycle is over, and a few dozen kernels just kind of go blue over the edge, okay? That's what he gets. The few souls who go tumbling over the edge. Not that many, really. There's a lot of vacant space in hell, which is probably a topic for another time.
So we're left to our own devices and we sink or swim on our own. Is that it?
In this lifetime, yes.
But people pray to you.
Which is nice. I like hearing from folks.
But they address all of their worldly concerns to you. They look to you to heal loved ones. They beg you to stop wars. They beseech you to put a roof over their heads and food in the mouths of their families.
Yes, they do.
And what do you give them?
I give them the strength to endure.
I'm not sure that they understand that that's all they're getting. I think that they come to you believing that they'll get practical solutions for the things they're facing.
Yes, I'm sure you're probably right about that. For many, if not most people, we'd all like somebody to just magically appear to take away the things that cause us pain.
Are you being facetious? I mean, you're God. What could possibly cause you pain that you can't dismiss with the blink of an eye
Or the wave of a wand? Look, I'm God, not Dumbledore. What aggrieves me? Maybe I should ask you if you're being facetious or just naive. The pain and suffering of mankind aggrieves me. It wounds me every instant because I feel all of it everywhere, every time it occurs. But that's part of the deal. I gave man free will. I created paradise for the first people. And you know what? They turned up their noses at it and chose free will instead.
So let me see if I understand this correctly. People suffer today because Adam and Eve made a bad decision.
Actually, it was a good decision. You get just a little sampling of the burdens that I carry. It's like being a patient, having an operation, and halfway through, the anesthesia starts to wear off, and you're lying there, completely paralyzed, and you can feel everything.
That's horrific.
Tell me about it.
Well, what do? How do you relieve your own suffering?
I do what most people do. I take heart in the small kindnesses that people do. The other day, I saw a guy take a pal out to lunch and pick up the tab. I saw a baby being delivered in a pasture by a passerby who just happened to hear the mother scream when her water burst. I caught the new crossfire.
You watch CNN?
Oh, I watch all of it. There is a lot of dreck out there. But we like the cooking shows.
We?
Well, I am fond of the old world recipes, and my son has a little bit of a sweet tooth, and the spirit really gets into modern high-tech gastronomy, where you make something fabulous using steam or vapor or dry ice. He really gets excited. He churns.
How can you tell?
Well, it's subtle, but I can tell I'm God.
Well, there's so much more that I would like to ask, and yet we're out of time. So can I ask you to come back and do this again?
Of course. There is so much more that you should ask. But this has been a really useful exchange of ideas. I'm really beginning to enjoy crafting my own brand. And I'm trying to get more followers on Twitter. But of course, in order to do that, you have to do a lot of tweeting. And I can't believe how that sounds coming out of my mouth. Twitter, tweet. Funny.
Well, as we get ready to say goodbye for right now, I'm just wondering, in parting, what do you suppose is the most important thing we need to know about you?
The most important thing for you to know about me is that I know absolutely everything there is to know about you. Everything. The trespasses, the boogers, your cursing me, that really sweet email you wrote, the chocolate milk you stole from Bernard the bedwetter in the 4th grade, and that affair with you-know-who. And I love you anyway.
Which affair?
Exactly.
Thanks, Lord. You rock.
Well, you're pretty rocky your own self, Kevin. Next time we should enlarge our vision a little bit. If you think the Trinity is complicated to get your head around, think about the Hindu pantheon. Again, all me, all the time.